Nottingham Forest's plan for the summer is starting to take shape, and it has a direct line to Celtic's record signing. We have also got Celtic given the green light over a $3.5 million defender, Elijah Just, speaking out as transfer interest continues to build around him. Roma now involved in two separate Celtic-related storylines, and a forgotten man spotted getting some attention from Sean Maloney on the very first day of pre-season. Let's get into it, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Arne Engels has been linked with Nottingham Forest again in recent weeks, but fresh reports suggest the Premier League side may have other priorities as they look to replace Elliot Anderson. Forest are set to step up their midfield search after Anderson's proposed move to Manchester City, with the England international's exit expected to leave a major gap in their squad. That has naturally brought Engels back into the conversation. Celtic rejected bids from Forest for the Belgian midfielder in January, with the final offer widely reported to be around $25 million. But while the 22-year-old remains a player admired by Forest, he may not be at the front of the queue at this stage. The Athletic journalist David Ornstein reports that Forest have identified Tottenham midfielder Lucas Bergvall as the player they want to replace Anderson. That line is important from a Celtic point of view. Engels has been spoken about as a possible Forest target again this summer, especially with Anderson's exit set to bring in a huge fee, but the latest reporting points towards Bergvall being higher on their list. Telegraph Sport have also reported that Forest will now intensify their hunt for an Anderson replacement, stating that Bergvall is admired by the recruitment team, with the Sweden international having signalled his intention to leave Tottenham this summer. The same report notes that Engels has been linked with Forest again after January's rejected bids, but adds that there are other targets ahead of the Celtic midfielder for now. For Celtic, that may ease some immediate pressure. Engels is back at Lennox Town for pre-season after arriving from Augsburg as the club's record signing in 2024. His future remains uncertain amid interest from several clubs, but Forest's next move may not be for him if Bergvall is now the preferred route. That does not mean the Engels situation is over. Roma, Bournemouth and other clubs have also been credited with interest, while Forest already showed in January that they are prepared to put serious money on the table. Celtic's stance should remain firm. Engels is young, under contract, and still has room to grow. Now for the main story, as Celtic-linked Oscar Woycik remains a player to watch this summer after Cracovia Vice President Murat Kolak admitted there is a lot of interest in the defender. The Hoops reportedly made a $3.5 million bid for the Polish centre-back in January, but no deal was done before the winter window closed. It remains to be seen whether Celtic return this summer, with Martin O'Neill expected to strengthen across several areas of the squad. Centre-half is one position that could come into focus, especially with decisions still to be made around the back four. Woycik appears to be attracting attention elsewhere too. Speaking about the 21-year-old, Kolak made it clear Cracovia value the player highly, but also suggested they would consider the right offer. He said, "Woycik is a great player for us, and we support him very much. I won't deny that there's a lot of interest in him. He's a player with enormous potential. He's in his prime. We've already had some very good offers for him in the winter. We want to be fair to him. If a great offer comes in, one that's good for both the club and Oscar, we'll certainly consider it. That will be of interest to Celtic if their January admiration remains. Woycik would fit the profile of a younger defender with development value, but Celtic's need in that area may also depend on who leaves. Cameron Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty, Liam Scales and Dane Murray are already in the building, while Mike Nawrocki has returned from his loan spell at Hanover. O'Neill will want clarity quickly as pre-season gets underway. Celtic cannot carry too many centre-backs, but they also need enough quality and depth for domestic football and Europe. Cracovia's stance sounds open but not desperate. They know there is interest, they know the player has value, and they are prepared to wait for an offer that suits both sides. For Celtic, the question is whether Woycik remains high enough on the list to revisit. January's reported bid showed serious interest, but summer priorities can shift quickly once a new manager gets a proper look at the squad. In other news, Celtic linked Elijah Just has spoken about his excitement at working under new Motherwell manager Alfred Johansson as his future continues to attract attention. The New Zealand international is currently away at the World Cup, where he has been representing both his country and Motherwell on a major stage. Just has been linked with Celtic in recent months, with the winger's performances for club and country keeping him firmly on the radar. But while transfer talk continues in the background, the 25-year-old has been speaking positively about returning to Fir Park and seeing what changes Johansson brings. Speaking to RNZ's morning report, just said, "A lot of the boys, they've just started pre-season. We've got a new coach. So on that hand, I'm also excited to head back and see what kind of changes are being brought in. We've got some exciting fixtures coming up to qualify for the Conference League. Motherwell have supported me, and they are also proud and want to put me forward, and I'm representing the club a little bit as the only member who's playing at the World Cup." It is a sensible message from, just at a time when his name is still being mentioned in transfer circles. Motherwell have made it clear they rate him highly, and Johansson has already spoken about the winger remaining a Motherwell player while he focuses on New Zealand duty. The new manager will no doubt want the chance to work with him properly when he returns from the World Cup. For Celtic, the interest is understandable. Just offers direct running, creativity, and experience in Scottish football, while his World Cup exposure has only added to his profile. The question is whether Celtic decide to act. There has been plenty of noise around wide players this summer, with Martin O'Neill expected to reshape that area of the squad before the new campaign. Just comments do not sound like a player trying to force anything. Instead, he is giving Motherwell respect, acknowledging their support, and looking ahead to European qualifiers. In other news, Roma's reported interest in Matt O'Reilly could carry a knock-on benefit for Celtic, just as the Italian club are also being linked with current Hoops midfielder Arne Engels. According to Il Messaggero, Roma sporting director Tony D'Amico was in Milan on Wednesday, where he held a number of meetings. One of those was said to be with representatives from Brighton, who were also in the city as they looked to sign Atalanta defender Honest Ahanor. The report claims O'Reilly remains a long-term favourite of both D'Amico and Roma boss Gian Piero Gasparini. That is where Celtic come into the picture. O'Reilly left Celtic for Brighton in a Scottish record deal, and the Hoops are due a percentage of any profit the Premier League side make on the midfielder. If Roma's interest turns into anything serious, Celtic could be in line for another financial boost from a player they developed into one of the most valuable assets in Scottish football. It comes at an interesting time, with Roma also now being linked with Arne Engels. Journalist Sasha Tavolieri reported this week that the Serie A side have entered the race for the Belgian midfielder, with Premier League clubs also circling. Engels has already attracted interest from Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth and others, with Forest's rejected $25 million bid in January still the most concrete move so far. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.